Laugh, and there we go. Woo-hoo. It says we're live. We are live. You bet we are. Good evening, good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are. Sending your way always the very, very best. Wednesday night, Tuesday night. It's Biz to Biz with Joy. Grow your business in style. And tonight we're going to be talking about something that's fascinating, interesting, and a little bit intriguing oftentimes for a lot of people, just as TV is photography. Good pictures. Everybody needs them if you're in any kind of business. And that's what we're going to be talking with our guest tonight, Rose. Rose Capps is going to share a lot with you about how to glow up your online presence. Doesn't that excite you? I bet it does. So stay tuned because we are going to share a lot of good nuggets and tips with you. I am Joy Ruffin, your style and leadership coach. Professional, personal, and spiritual development. That's what we're all about. And we work with women of all ages to support them in standing in their greatness, their style, their confidence, their purpose, their passion for what it is they want to do. That we talk about a little bit later. But tonight we're going to talk with our guest, and I want to bring her up. And first off, I want to say welcome again. It's always good to see you here. But I want to bring up our guest, Rose Capps, and I want her to share with you what she's all about. Rose, hello, 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 and welcome. Good to see you.
Hello, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be on your show and to talk biz to biz with such a lady boss as you. So thank you so much for having me.
You know what? Thank you for that lady boss, because I wanted you to bring up that lady boss, because what you do, Lady Boss International Prototype, and we're going to talk about that. Now, that name, Lady Boss, covers a lot of terrain, a lot of territory, and it has a lot behind it. So tell us a little bit more about you and Lady Boss. Love it.
Thank you so much, Joy. So I always like to introduce myself as not the Lady Boss International, but one of many lady bosses.
Yes.
And so it's always my privilege to share pages, share the microphone, pass the microphone between different women in business, and really anybody who considers themselves an entrepreneur, a boss babe, somebody who really likes to take ownership for the work that they do in the world. That to me is a lady boss. So I absolutely 1000% am a lady boss. This particular business, Lady Boss International, is the third one that I will have brought to the world. And it was during my second business that I launched in 2014, which is a photo and video production company, that I found the need to really lean into community to kind of get some answers. I mean, of course I could have gotten an MBA and maybe gotten some answers that way, but I found actually the strength of community, other women in business in various careers, right? In various stages of their professional development. And I actually, Joy, I began to literally phone a friend, pull the audience to pull together what would turn into a panel discussion, a series that was very similar to, if you remember old school Oprah, like
Yes.
way back before she was syndicated.
Yeah.
I am in Chicago, born and raised, particularly on Oprah for breakfast, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Central Standard Time, Chicago Standard Time, that is. And I really, the way that she did her programming in a salon style environment, right? So the audience was very much as part of the stage. So it wasn't really like the sort of speaker box and the audience. It was like this very beautiful conversation.
Yes. It's always about a conversation when you're doing these type of shows. That's what I tell everyone. You might have run by it quickly, but I want to hear more about, and I know the audience here and the replay. Replay is where we get our audience, but that's what I want you to share with us, meaning how did you start? How did Lady Boss originate? What was the seed? How did that come about? Because Lady Boss, leader, boss, superior, all of these are names, but yet they have significant meanings. Tell us how you came to Lady Boss, because I'm all about leading ladies. Ladies who are significant in their confidence, their presence, and their knowing their greatness, or in the process of becoming. So how did Lady Boss come about?
Well, I have to give absolute honor and respect to the women who came before me, which includes my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, a matriarchal baby. That's who raised me. And so I was actually missing them quite dearly. I had they all kind of left the planet in a quick kind of like together, not the same day, but a very quick exit for many of them. And so I found that as I was growing my business, I really needed that female support, that matriarchal strength that I was raised upon, and I was missing it so much. So as I started to, as I said before, poll the audience, phone a friend, and get this really yummy feminine inspiration, it like the name just came to me. I wasn't like, what should we call this? I was like, oh, we got a lady boss. Here we go. Here's another lady boss. Here's another lady boss. And it was beyond, I have to tell you, Joy, beyond my comprehension of what it would become, even now as I'm now turning it into a business, because for the last 6-7 years, I've done this as a passion project, as a way to connect with women, as a way to feel inspired in my own business and to know that I'm doing right, or maybe I've done wrong, but I'm going to pull up my big girl pants. I'm going to keep going, And so really, truly getting inspiration from my community. And then what I found is that I was so inspired from that community that I was pouring back to them, they were pouring back to me. There's this beautiful, cyclical, very, again, feminine model of doing business. And so, of course, I was getting some leads in the photo and video world from that community, but I was also just incredibly inspired by what women would share with me that would happen after these panel conversations.
Fascinating. I breeze quickly through what you do and what you do brilliantly, and that is you are a photographer. You have your own studio, an internationally published studio. I mean, you do all over the world. So who is the Lady Boss International, and how have you put your business of taking photographs, and you go way beyond that, this we know and you'll share with us, but how are you combining the two of them?
Oh, I love this question. Thank you so much, Joy. So, it's really been interesting to watch my business kind of merge into this, what I'm calling, I don't think it's the grand finale, but it is a grand representation of things that I've done in the past. And so I will continue to work in photo and video production, specifically now with women in business, as I help them blow up their online presence. So as we mentioned before, any woman who wants to take authority of their world in business, that's a lady boss. And we all know a strong online presence is really, really helpful to communicate your message, whatever it may be. And so that's what my team and I do, is we help women really, whether it's with good photo, good video, and even we're doing a lot of work remotely, just doing like one-on-one sessions of how to help you get your light right. Like I've got a little light here to keep me as we go to the later part of the evening in our interview. Even little tricks where you can set your light in your car to be the most flattering light for doing a quick IG live or a podcast where you can get the sound, things like that. So just like quality control. I like to say I'm like the number one hype girl for all women in business.
Good for you. I love that. And I like how you help them to get the right lighting and all of that. And after this, we're going to talk about some things that are going to benefit you as you move forward, as far as the mic, because that's important when you're doing this kind of thing. I know you do a lot on Instagram for videos and podcasts and whatever. Now, something you said here is major for me, and I'm sure for everyone in the audience, and that's why what you do in the world matters. This is one of your points that you want to speak about. And for me, it's major. I want to hear your viewpoint of why what you do in the world really matters. Your journey, your purpose, your mission, your calling, whatever the verbiage might be, and the passion that you have for it. Why is that important? And how do you convey and share with others why that's important?
Thank you, Joy. Yes. Well, I wanted to make sure to touch on this, not necessarily exactly what I do, but what you do, the Lady Boss, right? You, Joy, you, listener, because I think that we all do something very important, uniquely different than this person. There are a ton of photographers out there. There are a ton of producers out there, but we all do it a little bit differently, right? Yeah. And so I think this is a great question, is because it's really imperative to shine the spotlight, literally glow up what it is that differentiates the work you do in the world from other folks that are doing similar things. Because I think, not to be too cheesy, but we are like snowflakes. There's no actual identical twin to any identical twins. But when we speak about how we do work in the world, we do all approach it slightly differently. And I think that's what makes for a beautiful, colorful melting pot of an experience of a life, right?
Absolutely. No question about it. And your voice and how you show up and what you say and how you stand out in this online sea. And the way that you explain that, I like that. I've heard that thing about snowflakes before, but the way that you present it to us, it's so true because I think sometimes people forget. And one of the standard, I'm very repetitive in almost everything that I do, but not competitive because I don't believe in that to an extent. We as women are more about completing one another rather than completing. And so when you think about snowflakes, there are how many different photographers, how many different stylists, how many different types of leaders. But what you want to align with are those who are more in line with what you do. So I get that. Now, what channels on social media do you love and how do you amplify those up to get your voice out there and the voice of the people that you're working with?
Yes, thank you, Joy. So my absolute favorite at the moment, where in fact Joy and I met, is Clubhouse. I think it's it's an audio only app, and it not only allows us to hear each other speak, but I'm finding it creates such incredible empathy to actually hear story versus look at the photo of the story or read about the story or maybe watch a video about the story. It's a live audio feed that you can drop in and drop out of. So that's my favorite right now because I'm able to interview women. I'm able to host huge virtual brunches we do every other Saturday, which is incredible. It's just a really, really interesting way to learn about the work we all do in the world. Of course, we do our Instagram lives every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard discussion, much like we're having here with Joy, on what exactly these different lady bosses are doing in the world and how they're doing it a little bit different. I personally love to focus on heart-led business and inclusion and diversity and equity. So a lot of the lady bosses you'll see on the IG Live are doing that in their businesses from the beginning, not like as an afterthought. And I'm very, very excited to push that kind of work in whatever field it is forward in the world, because I do believe that a woman forward world is a better world for every human.
No question. No question about it. No one is going to disagree with that comment, that a mindset that you have and how you said that. And you're right, the Clubhouse platform is phenomenal for anyone, for all the different things that we can do. I want to speak to something that you just spoke to, which is, there are these buzzwords that they buzz all around and they catch on and then everybody hops on the wagon and boom. And that's heart-centered. I use it a lot because heart-centered leadership is what I'm all about. How do you use and how is that major for you with the women that you're working with? Because you're working with women internationally across the pond, here, there, and yonder. Where and how does that heart-centered, whatever it is that you're about, fit into what you're doing?
It's so important because it allows both myself and the client or clients to truly meet each other where we are, right? And give room, give grace, have empathy, and see these shared experiences that might be very similar, very different, but still, like my mom always say, we all have a bag of rocks that we're carrying. I think if we can lead with our heart, lead with empathy, and lead with understanding that everybody is going through life something is happening. It's sometimes great, sometimes it's terrible, and a lot of times we're like the part of filtering it in between, right? And so if I can recognize that for my client, I think that they feel seen by me, and I haven't even picked up my cameras yet, And I think that it's a heart count over a head count, right?
I like that. Oh, I like that. Very good. I'm going to remember that. Let me ask you this. The women who come to you for their photo shoots and they want pictures, and you have what I call, from what I've seen, that X factor where you're able to, and good photographers who are really able to get to that. They have the ability to pull that out. What are the main questions and considerations that your clients come to you with wanting, other than just a stellar set of photographs that they can use in their business? What are some of the things that they say to you that they want in their pictures so that they can use them in their businesses?
Oh, I love this question, Joy. 10 out of 10 clients, they want to look like themselves, right? They want to like if you can catch me just laughing and not being posed, that's how I naturally, instead of feeling all like, more contrived. And I say, yes, absolutely. And luckily right now, the trend for both advertising photography and just general, what we call lifestyle photography, is very much, you know, the action of you doing the thing versus, you know, I like to say you're drinking the coffee and enjoying the coffee instead of saying, please buy this coffee, right? And so it's much more interactive, and I really think it allows for that authenticity to shine through. And the other thing that I feel like my clients are always saying they want to have experience with is taking those photos and then sharing them. Like, well, and now what do I do with them? A lot of my clients have some sort of marketing plan, but what I like to do is not just create that stellar content, but then turn up our channels, our social media channels with that content. So like I said earlier, I am being the #1 hype girl for all these other lady bosses, saying, oh, check her out, see what she's up to. Oh, don't forget to go read her blog.
Connector, the connector. Yeah, you're absolutely connecting. That's a trait that I think everyone who's into real leadership and being the best that they can be and rising always to that element of best, that's what you do. You can't hold on to anything. But let me ask you something. I want to dovetail back to what you said there, because I really want to know the answer to this. I get this too somewhat. People say, I want to be natural. I want to remain myself. I want to look like I look. They don't want the exaggerated makeup and hair and all of that stuff. Yet there's some tweaking that you can do and oftentimes needs to be done. How do you handle that?
Ooh, this gets a little sticky. This is a great question, Joy.
Well, sticky is good. You know why? Because we're in the business where you're looking for women predominantly. I'm sure you photograph men as well, but predominantly you are here because we work predominantly with women. You want women who want to be their best self. And all of us, myself included, somewhat have gotten into the comfort mode. You want ease and comfort, but when it slides over into another element, that's not good if you are a professional businesswoman, even if it's a casual business. So how do you get her to say, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, yet if we could do, or if you would allow me to, blah, 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 whatever it might be, are you able to do that? I'm sure that you are, but the question is, do you get those who maybe sometimes you want to say, I understand you want the natural, and so it should be, will be, but here's a suggestion. How do you handle something like that?
Yes, this is a great question. So what I typically will always suggest that anybody who I photograph, men and women, but definitely women, because it is, I will tell you 100% of the time, people tell me, oh, I'm terrible at taking pictures. I said, don't worry, you don't have to take the picture. I'll take it. I'm actually going to make it. It's my job.
One of those. I hate taking pictures.
Everybody says it. And then I say, it's actually my job to make a good picture of you. It is not your job. So please take a breath and realize that's my job. And because it's an occasion that we don't often do on a regular basis, although I will tell you, I often sit to have my portrait made because I do understand it is not comfortable. And so I like to have that empathy with my subjects. But I often suggest that all of my clients treat themselves, even if it's the day before. Get your hair cut, go get a blowout, go get your nails done, go do something that will make you feel. And it doesn't mean like go get the extra lashes or do something that you wouldn't look like. You know, I don't want you to bleach out your hair if you don't normally wear a blonde. But, you know, if you want to feel like this is a special occasion, then treat yourself to something that will help you feel that way. So then when we get on set, when we get into the mode of photographing and in the video, you're already like, oh, I am feeling myself, you know, and then I can help enhance that with my tool.
Good answer. Good answer. And no, that is sticky. And it does get to be somewhat trying to attempt to share with someone that, yes, I'm going to keep you in the element that you want to be in, except I'm going to kick it up a notch where you're going to be pleased with it. Allow me, trust me that I can do this for you. And that's kind of icky and trust. And it involves trust. No like and trust never goes out of style. Rose, I'm going to put you in the green room for just a brief second. I'm going to take a quick little commercial and then I'll be right back with you. So hold tight and I'll be back. And we're going to talk about, again, the voice and the message and what you do in the work that you do with women, the lady boss. I love it. Let me say this, photography, like video content, which she mentioned, and video production, it's the wave of the future. So in that she's here now and doing this and consulting and working with women and men all over the world, I think it's a fantastic career to be in, a profession to have. And I'm running across her name, her email, and her website, and my prayer is that you will connect. Now, I want you also to put in the comments, Biz, B-I-Z, and you will be delivered your complimentary booklet all about how you can be the best at interviewing and being an interviewee and being on all the different shows and all the things that you need to know so that you can be at the top of the list always, and knowing how to go about that. In conjunction, I'm inviting you on June the 24th, and believe me, this is May the 25th. It will be here before you know it. I'm having a free workshop, and it's going to be my Step Into Your Leadership Style. It's going to be all about how you can amp up your wow factor. And this is for women regardless of age. This is for personal, professional, and spiritual development so that you can stand in your confidence, your power, your greatness, your passion, and show it without saying a word, having that commanding presence that you want. And this workshop is going to deliver all the seeds that you will have to initiate whether or not this is something that you want to make an investment in you in, so that you can be always the leader that you're called here to be, because we all are. It's somewhat what Rose said. Every woman has her mission and her calling, and your assignment is to find out what that is. So type in the word biz, make a note of that date, the 24th. I'm going to start posting as of tomorrow so that you'll get everything that you need so that you can be there. And trust me, it's something that you don't want to miss. It's going to be, as my girls would say, I volunteer with these beautiful young ladies, and they always say, Miss Ruffin, it's going to be epic. So that said, I look to see you there. In the meantime, join my Facebook group, Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, because your legacy is now. Just as Rose is working as a Lady Boss International woman with all these women all over the world who are about a legacy. The legacy is now. It's not when you're gone. You're living it right here and now. Your ethics, your integrity, and all of that has to be a part of it. So join the Facebook group. You won't regret it. And let's bring Rose up. Rose, you mentioned something in your bullet points to me that I really want to talk about. And that's, and you mentioned it briefly before, what channels on social media that you love and how you can support others so that they can amp up and amplify their voice. You mentioned the one that we both love and we met on. Are there any other suggestions or ideas that you can give us that will help those who are still searching, seeking for avenues where they will be more at home and innately natural for them?
Yes, absolutely, Joy. So my favorite channel right now that we're working on, not just seeing this face, but more Lady Bosses, is our YouTube channel, which is at ladyboss.international. And you could check out that channel and see a little bit more about the whole programming of what we do with Lady Boss International. Aside from the photo and video content, it's we collaborate, elevate, and inspire with women all over the world. And the YouTube channel is really exciting because the content we will be bringing forth with the vlog, the video blog, will include such women like you. So you've got a vlog that you want to share, we put it on our YouTube channel so we can point back to yours. That's the way the networking works. As Joy mentioned, I am a connector. I like to say I'm not just the power cord, I'm the power strip, because I like to bring as many women together to each other to continue this big blow up that we are seeing around the world. And I love to help facilitate that.
Wonderful. Let me ask you this, because I did mention, I'd like for the person who is about it to mention, you have 2 locations for your photography studio. So tell us where people, because everything is online now, but tell us a little bit about the locations and how you have them separated and what you do there.
Yes, thank you, Joy. So I do have 2 geographic locations at the moment, just 2
Yes.
for now. There will be more as I am international.
Yes, you are.
One of my headquarters is in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina, which is in the western state in the mountains. And then the original headquarters of Lady Boss International and my photo production company is in Chicago. So I'll be heading back up there on Friday and looking forward to a really, Chicago summertime is not to miss. And I have to say, ever since forever, I have been a fair weather Chicago. And even though I'm born and raised there, I don't do winter very well. So I've been a snowbird since I was allowed to
Good for you. Thank you for that, because people like, we like to hear about people and their stories and what they're about. So that said, we're towards the end here, Rose. It goes very, very quickly. And we've covered pretty much what you do and how you do your work and why you have such a passion for it and how you started it. So share with us a little bit about your deciding, that seed that made you decide, I'm going to be an entrepreneurial woman, lady. So somewhere, somehow, I heard you mention briefly before that you started a business and then boom, and started this one. But and I heard you mention the ladies that are dear to you, but give us something else about why and how being an entrepreneurial spirit is so vital and important to you now.
Oh my gosh, Joy. Well, this is a hard question, because I will admit that I have been kind of fighting the fact that I'm an entrepreneurial woman for most of my life. This is my third business, but I have also tried to get a real job many times, and I've actually been fired by the same company twice. So I began to realize that this fire inside of me to not only lead, and I will work 80 hours for myself instead of 40 hours for somebody else. I don't know what it is. It's just in my DNA, but that I can do that and then inspire other women that kind of think maybe they sort of can, maybe if I can give them the like, hey girl, you can, high fives, like go after it, then 1000%, I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Rose, let me say, I say this a lot, but I say it from my heart. Let me celebrate and praise you for what you just said. You said, sometimes I wonder, and you said it in different verbiage, but we got it. Because who said it was easy to be an entrepreneurial woman? It's not. And you mentioned that you've started the 2 businesses and boom, and this is a third. Yet something propels you onward. Now, I heard you say same position twice, let go, blah, 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 and then another. What do you think it is that gives you this impetus to just keep going? And you have to be your own agent. What is that seed? We want to know.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could just, put the nail on the head with that, because I think it's a combination of a lot of things. But honestly, it's a genuine want, desire, and need to connect with people at like a higher level that sometimes contained, positions will only allow this or that. And so I see big picture all the time. And so I wanted to see that for my clients. I want to see that for the world. I want to see that for myself. And so that's where I think the entrepreneurial spirit comes from inside of me, that cannot be contained. And I've since stopped trying to contain it. I'm like, okay, here we go. This is what I'm going to do.
Sometimes we have to stop attempting to decipher everything, to understand at the core level everything, because everything, for whatever the reason, and it's always good, even when we don't see it as good, is given to us for a reason. So I get what you're attempting to share with us. And yet people think that things happen overnight, and overnight success, they see someone and they boom, 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 but there is no you mentioned Oprah. Oprah will tell you herself how she started and the whole story, but people don't see and get that. They see the ending results. That's just human nature. Go figure. I stopped trying to be a psychologist years ago after exploring my own sense of self. But yet, the work that you're doing, and predominantly with women, all of the women that I meet in every age range who are working predominantly with women, supporting women, I celebrate them, because I know that there's something there that propels them in that direction, that there's a calling there to work with women. And that's why I ask you that. And a little bit that you shared with us about your family dynamics and the background, I somewhat get it. But yet you are a person, I think, who has to be, you said it, you're a firecracker in a way. You have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
And being your own boss means what? You make your own decisions. You don't like people making decisions for you.
This is true. And there's a lot of accountability there, not to myself and to business. If I show up in the world saying, let's do this thing, let's be like this, let's lead with our hearts, then I have to do that myself. My walk and my talk match.
I get walking your talk. Okay, you speak my language. Let me say this. The time goes too short here. I'm going to change this up shortly, but I love the work that you're doing. And I love the way you taught me a couple of lessons that I needed to have. So thank you for that. I am not afraid to say I made a boo-boo, I made a mistake, or thank you for my lesson, because that's how we evolve. And I want to be the best leader as you do that I can be. That said, what takeaway do you want to leave us with? Anything at all that you want to share with us while you say so long for now? The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Joy. I appreciate your grace and your vulnerability and your strength. And I think that's what I would love to leave everybody with, is that we can be both fierce and strong and powerful and soft, gentle and vulnerable and courageous. And that creates a holistic lady boss, so that we can, ugly cry now and again, but also stand up and say, okay, what's next? So thank you, Joy. I'm so happy to have shared the stage with you.
Thank you for that ending. You warmed my heart. I think that was really beautifully said, and I take it all to heart because you were spot on. Thank you, Rose. If you'll go into the green room and say so long for now, I'll be with you in just a second. I'm going to say so long to the audience. Thank you. What a lovely, lovely lady. I tell you, I loved everything that she had to share with us, but especially the ending. Why not? Let me say this to you. This journey that we're all on, and it's a continuous journey. We never, ever stop growing, evolving to get to the best that we're here to be. That's why, for me, leadership, confidence, the passion that you have, the purpose that you're about, and how you stand in your greatness is so important. And we, as women, the universe is calling for us right here and now to stand up and step out and say, I'm here with heart, heart-centered leadership. And I want to be one of the main people that you associate with who will support you in standing in your greatness. Because even though there are no rules anymore, and nobody gives a hoot about dressing anymore, nobody gets gussied up or dressed to the nines or dressed for success. Yet, if you're a professional and you're a business person, you need to show up as your best self. And that's what I'm going to support you in doing. If you're ready for that, I'm ready to meet and greet you. Say hello to everyone that you meet, and make sure that you wear the mask, you be well, you stay safe, and connect with Rose. I put through all of her information. It ran through the computer from time to time. And as always, share out this video. We had some sound issues, but you never know. You never know what happens. Maybe when it'll come out in the actual airing a wee bit better. But we learn as we grow, and this is how we evolve. So once again, thanks for being here. Love it when you are. And I look forward to seeing you again, and soon, like tomorrow night. Be well, stay safe, all the best. So long for now. Cheers.